That's how they roll. That's the most, that WNBA is woke as shit. The NBA is woke as shit. And they had to tell her, you better change your thing or we're not going to get behind you 100%. And she did. She bowed down, and that's exactly what happened. And I'll never.
The WNBA is in immediate panic after Caitlin Clark, the sole reason anyone even knows this league exists, was forced to publicly acknowledge that she is only successful because of white privilege on the same day she was named the Times Athlete of the Year. That's right. The same girl who brought this dying league out of existence with her blood, sweat, and talent was bullied into apologizing for being white.
Caitlin, you didn't make it to the WNBA because of the color of your skin. You played because you worked your ass off. Hours in the gym, sweat, sacrifice, and everything.
The WNBA, she truly came to believe that race, not skill, is the deciding factor in this pitiful money-losing joke of a league.
I know there's been so many amazing Black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And
if this league was founded on the shoulders of Black women, then why has it been struggling for 25 years with empty seats, zero viewers, and constant complaining? WNBA talent is resilient, but it's obvious that acknowledging the truth requires far more mental energy than these league officials have to spare. Caitlin Clark was worthy.
She's been disrespected, snubbed, and talked about from people like Cheryl Swoops on a regular basis now.
As she played for the Indiana Fever A team, no one paid attention to her until she appeared on the WNBA, which is that league you forgot existed until Caitlin Clark made every game into must-watch television. She brought the league's decaying corpse into the spotlight and rightfully won her Athlete of the Year award. She also set 6 rookie records for franchise records and a single-game assist record with 19 dimes.
The WNBA is a zombie company that loses money year in and year out. I actually have good news.
What?
They were projected to lose $50 million this year. But because of Caitlin Clark and all her great success, they only lost $40 million this year.
Hey.
Amazing.
Let's go back to her time in college. In March Madness, Iowa versus South Carolina attracted 18.9 million viewers, which is not only enormous, but also more than NBA playoff games, the second most watched women's basketball event in U.S. history. Caitlin's performance made basketball fun. She didn't just play well, she made people care, and that in and of itself is worthy of a medal because, let's face it, the WNBA was as relevant as a broken fax machine prior to her. And what does the WNBA do in exchange for the person carrying its worthless league? They accuse her of being a product of white privilege because nothing screams privilege like dragging a 20 to 27-year-old zombie league kicking and screaming into relevance. Caitlin Clark is talented and doesn't care about race. Thus, she doesn't have any privilege.
And while the 3-time MVP A'ja Wilson claimed Clark's race was a huge contributor to her popularity, it doesn't matter what we all do as Black women. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug.
They don't want to hear this truth. The WNBA is a $50 million money pit that has been on life support for decades. Without the NBA's financial contributions, the WNBA would have gone bankrupt before the year 2000s. Caitlin's ascent nearly turned a profit. This year, they only lost $4 million. What a triumph! A $10 million reduction in failure call for the parade. The WNBA doesn't function like a real business because, prior to Caitlin's arrival, most games had such small crowds that the janitor could have easily swept up after them in a high school gym. Then, Caitlin put on her sneakers and all of a sudden, every arena, home or away, was packed with people, tickets sold out, road games became events, and for the first time ever, the WNBA had a pulse. What did they do, though? They cried about her whiteness. Critics, experts, and players emerged from the shadows to spin her accomplishment into some racist bullshit. When the woke brigade threw a party, Caitlin's true admirers rolled their eyes into the back of their heads because she acknowledged the white privilege narrative without saying anything radical at all, as if she were reading from a hostage statement.
We don't agree with victimhood mentality. Because we're Middle Eastern. Can you imagine? It's like, oh, we don't have white privilege. Their daddy is as Middle Eastern as it gets. We don't believe in that stuff.
The fact is that when Serena Williams dominated tennis, no one voiced concerns about her race. Instead, they congratulated her because brilliance speaks for itself. Similarly, when Tiger Woods dominated golf, no one referred to it as black privilege. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. Every sponsorship deal she signs and every highlight she achieves gets her the WBA. Her desperate attempt to justify her success by focusing on race rather than talent is not only petty, but pitiful.
The WNBA will never succeed. It's never going to make money. It is a zombie organization. It does not have mass market appeal or provide value like Amazon and Jeff Bezos did. There's limited interest. Sports fans, 80% of sports fans are men. Zero interest in the WNBA. It's a lesbian league.
With the players complaining that Caitlin is their worst enemy. Sheryl Swoopes, A.A. Wilson, and the others are constantly criticizing Caitlin rather than taking notes. She is the sole solution to the NBA's problems and is skilled at connecting with people and marketing herself, which is what celebrities do. As her teammates sat around whining like extras in her highlight film, Caitlin Clark transformed the WNBA into a dialogue.
And the people in WNBA, the executive team, thinks they did the right thing. They just effed up. They had a half of the population.
The truth is that the WNBA isn't built on the backs of black women. Rather, it's hardly built at all, and it has been stumbling along for more than 20 years entirely on NBA welfare. Now that Caitlin Clark is carrying it, people are angry with her because she's white, but that's their identity politics, not their problem. Face pointing and finger pointing won't get tickets. For some reason, the league that Caitlin Clark is saving treats her like the issue, even though she gave fans money and relevance, 3 things the WNBA has been pleading for ages. How do they compensate her by pressuring her to apologize for her own success? Let's not kid ourselves, the WNBA has been a joke for years. Empty arenas, pathetic TV ratings, and a $40 million loss this year alone. Nice fact, that's actually an improvement from the $50 million hole they were in last year, and why the progress this zombie league has become barely bearable due to Caitlin Clark's arrival.
She's amazing. She's done great. And I've been following during the season her getting bullied by all these other players who are jealous of her, who are jealous of her success. And meanwhile, these statistics would come out where all the road games where she plays sell out. They're the best selling games of the season is when she comes to town. And for her to turn around.
Because people genuinely care about her games. She fills every seat at home and away. Last year, you could have watched a WNBA finals game in your living room and not have bothered to look up from your phone. But now that Caitlin Clark is causing the WNBA to struggle to print tickets quickly enough, keep in mind that the Iowa versus South Carolina college game drew 18.9 million viewers, which is more than the 2023 NBA Finals. Let me add that, for those in the back, a women's college basketball game did better than the NBA Finals.
You know, it's either something to do with business, but a lot of people are asking about fatherhood. Here's the thing. If I write a book on fatherhood, first chapter, you know what it's going to say? Read this book at your own risk. Don't look at me as a great father. We'll know if I'm a good father or not in 40 years.
Here's a tip. Respect is earned. And Caitlin Clark earned it not because she's white, but because she's amazing. That's what happens when she plays. She transforms sports into events, while the WNBA has been complaining about how they should be treated with more dignity for 25 years. Oh, and because it's always about money, let's talk about it. Caitlin Clark recently inked a huge contract worth $24 to $28 million with Nike. This is because companies like Nike don't throw tens of millions at players out of sympathy. Instead, they invest in stars who can sell. Caitlin Clark is marketable, likable, and incredibly captivating to watch. In contrast, the WNBA, a league that has been on life support since its inception and has survived only because the NBA subsidizes 70% of its budget, would have shut down 20 years ago without the NBA's financial support. Meanwhile, LeBron James earns $50 million annually in salary alone, and no one seems to care because he deserves every bit of it. When Caitlin Clark gets in, she attracts fans, reduces the WNBA's losses by tens of millions, and why is she accused of white privilege? Excuse me, but she's bringing this terrible league back into the spotlight while the veterans sit there complaining like children who weren't invited to the fancy party.